How do we use metaphors in coaching?
Hi, I'm Ruth and I'm passionate about helping people live the life that they want to live on their terms. I talk about coaching, positive psychology, neuroscience, and business growth, because if you want to live a fulfilling life, then you want to be going from a 0 to a +5 in positive psychology, rather than focusing on bringing you up to a 0.
Actually, in one of the ICF standards under evoking awareness, it talks about the use of metaphor. And I'm going to talk today a little bit about how you can use it as a coach. So first of all, I see lots of people and lots of coaches thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to come up with loads and loads of metaphors for my client. That isn't what we do. Coaching is always client-led. So we use the client's metaphor. And this is an interesting thing. We don't actually need to understand the client's metaphor. If they're using a metaphor, we go with it and we see what that means to the client, and we help our client get clarity. There's always this idea that the coach needs to have complete clarity over everything that the client's doing. But actually, that isn't our job. Our job is to evoke awareness in our client so that they decide what they're going to do and they know. We don't need to know the intricacies of their mind. We can't see into their mind. It's about them making sense of those things that are going on up there, which I know we probably all need a lot of sense making. When a client uses a metaphor, one that quite a few of my clients use, I can't see the wood from the trees. Now, actually, even if I think about that and I use it, what does that mean? Well, what it means to me may be very, very different to what it means to you. So when I say I can't see the wood from the trees, I mean I'm really overwhelmed. I feel like the trees are coming in and I can't actually see any sunlight. I can't see any clarity. And what I want is to have that sunlight, to see the way forward, to see an opening. But that might be very, very different from somebody else using the phrase. And this is why we use our client's metaphor and we explore that with the client. So, okay, you can't see the wood from the trees. What's going on? What does that look like? What does that feel like? How could you navigate through this? What's going to allow you to see the wood? You know, really digging into that. Because what we're wanting is we're wanting the client. So for me, the wood from the trees feels like a feeling. I'm very much a feeling person. So I don't really see pictures, I feel things. So, you know, that feeling of being constricted, of being like kind of having stuff on top of me. But for somebody else, it might be that they've got the image in their mind. And so it might be about supporting them to look at what needs to change in that image. And it's really interesting when we go with these metaphors, because we don't often talk in metaphor. I mean, I don't. And we don't often stop to think about the meaning behind that metaphor. And actually, when we do, it's about making sense. It's about joining up those dots. So when you're asking the questions, you're really getting the client to say, what is going on here? I've said this metaphor, but what does that look and feel like? And what am I thinking on that granular level? And then it may well be that you run with that metaphor and you explore it more when you're helping them to really look at what they need to change or what needs to be different. So I know when I've done the wood from the trees one, you know, towards the end of the session, I've said to a client, so how are you getting on? What's going on with the wood and the trees now? And they're like, well, actually, I feel like there's a path. I can see my way through the trees. Great. You know, they've been able to change that metaphor. There's a change in their thinking. And so often these are symbols. They're symbols of what is going on in someone's mind. They're a way that we shortcut our thinking by giving it a different name. And I just find this really fascinating because there's this whole idea, and I don't know where this has come from, and people do this around words as well, that what I think is the same as what you think. My experience of something is the same as your experience. If I'm looking at, this metaphor, then I must have the same meaning about it as you do. But that isn't what coaching's about. Coaching isn't about us thinking the same way as our clients. Coaching is about us supporting our clients to think differently, to really understand themselves. And actually, self-awareness is the biggest gift. Because when we understand what we're thinking and why we're thinking it, when we can change our patterns, then we can change everything. So I encourage you to start listening for metaphors and to start being curious in your exploration with your clients. What does that mean? What does that feel like? And then to support them to use that metaphor in part of their change process. So this is all about you being curious, and this is all about you always using the words that your client uses. It's not about you deciding that because you have a meaning for something, it's the same as your clients. That becomes about you, not your client. So be curious and explore. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd like you to like and subscribe. And remember to keep abreast of all of our new videos. Just ring that bell and you'll be notified when any new ones come out. And we'd love to hear feedback from you. So if you'd like to post beneath your biggest takeaway, and equally anything that you'd like to hear me talk about, we're always open to feedback.